Josh Green here for Tungsten Tales. Delighted today to be joined by Ryan Meikle. Ryan, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure. Look, a season for you, 10 years in the PDC now, which is quite unbelievable, really. Made your debut on the tour at 19. Can you quite believe it's been 10 years?
No, that's quite. Obviously, I know how long it feels like I've been on there forever. Actually, but yeah, no, I feel very lucky. I still feel fairly young, so I'm quite experienced. I'm not quite 30 yet, so yeah, I think I'm probably quite a slow burner. Probably not as high as I'd like to be, but I'm grateful still to be there. I'm obviously still in the top 64 too.
When you came off the development tour and you were sort of quite prolific on the development tour scene, were you expecting maybe to kick on a little bit faster than you have?
I think to start with, it helped me actually. It was almost like you had to grow up. You couldn't just, rely on. You always had in the back of your mind, if I can get top two of the development tour, I'm going to get in the worlds. I'm going to get another tour card if I lose mine. But yeah, it was almost like you got to kick on now, and I did for a few years. So but yeah, I've probably not stalled, but I've been in the same sort of position probably 5, 6 years now. So which is, it's not bad, but obviously you'd always like to be a little bit higher.
Yeah. The season this year, how do you reflect on the past sort of 11 months of the season?
Probably quite frustrating. Um,
Mm.
I feel I've probably done my usual again. I've qualified for Ali Pali, which is also always the main aim. Obviously very disappointed to lose out on Minehead, especially on countback as well. Um, but yeah, I think someone in my position, I always look at Minehead and Ali Pali, the two, definite ones you want to qualify for, and then obviously European tours, and then the other majors are very difficult to qualify for. But yeah, it's been okay. I've still had a good year, and obviously we've still got the biggest tournament yet to come.
Yeah, and increased prize money at the World Championships. The first round prize money obviously being doubled up to 15 grand this year. Does that just put that little bit of extra incentive when you get to Ali Pali, knowing that, well, the prize money's there, but also that's going on the rankings?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Obviously, when we got the news at the start of the year, it is massive. I still work part time as well, so it's not my full time job. Um, so still, there's a lot of pressure there to earn money throughout the year, and initial top 32, we're not all earning hundreds of thousands like a lot of them. So, it's still difficult. We've got mortgage to pay and young children, etc. So, yeah, obviously double the money this year, it's a nice little bonus. And obviously, if I can win a game as well, that'd be the most money I've ever won. So, yeah, just putting the practice in ready for it.
Does it feel like darts is moving more towards being a sport where you've got a sort of full-time tour, really? I know there's not the first round money at Pro Tours yet, which is a sort of a long debate that's been had over many years, but the money seems to be going up gradually in many tournaments, and in the world's case, it's gone up quite dramatically this year.
Yeah, definitely. I think eventually it will be, if you have a tour card, that will be a full time job. But obviously, still with the no money for first rounds, that's still quite brutal, really. Sort of midweek as well. So it's not like, when people say, oh, you can just work. Well, you can't always just work now because you're away most of the midweek. So yeah, it's a little bit of extra pressure. But yeah, like I say, we're all very lucky to be in the position. But I think a lot of people don't realise it is still quite tough for a lot of players. If you're not winning games, and if you do lose, you could go away for pro tours and play Luke Littler or Luke Humphreys first round. You're not going to earn a penny, and you've been away a week. You've been in a hotel, so yeah, it's not always as nice as it looks.
Yeah, I remember speaking to a few players when those Pro Tours did switch to midweek, and they did say they've got family commitments, they've got children in school, they've potentially got full-time or part-time jobs. How is that? I know you sort of do your part-time barbering on the side. I imagine that fits around your darts schedule. How has it sort of affected the other side of your career, I guess, with the darts?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate where I work is just two of us. So obviously I know the calendar for the whole year up front, so I know when I can be there and when I can't. But yeah, I don't work nowhere near as much as I could have before. when it was all weekend stuff. But I'd love to do it full. I think to get you've got to be a full time dart player now. I think to make it probably in the top 40 or so, because I think that probably the thing what cost me is consistency. I'd say, and that probably comes from having to work still. And I put the time and effort into the darts, but we're talking an hour, hour and a half every night instead of 4 or 5 hours if you didn't work. So yeah, you try and get the best out of both worlds, really.
Yeah. Just turning sort of the clocks back like 11 months or so to last year's Worlds, you had that draw that was very much in the spotlight with Fallon, then with Luke as well. Was that a spotlight that you enjoyed because you maybe haven't had the amount of TV time that some of the players on that world stage would have had, certainly the amount that Luke and Fallon would have had?
Yeah, no, I think I'm someone who can take it quite well. I like it in the fact that if you play someone in the media attention, you're going to be. I knew I'd be a Friday or Saturday night, prime time on TV. Um, like no one wants to be first on in an afternoon session sort of thing. So yeah, I think it's a positive in a way, but obviously you've got a tougher game. So it was brilliant for me last year. I've had a month, 2 months of just I read newspapers turning up at my work when during the day and stuff, and yeah, it's extra free sponsorships and stuff. So it all worked out quite nicely for me.
But hoping for a different draw this time around.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, slightly different this year, and with the seedings and stuff. So yeah, I'll be watching the draw, and we'll see who we get.
Just something I wanted to reflect on was I think it's been brought up before, probably, but your pace is very different on the Oki to a lot of young players that come through. And the more I watch young players at whether it be a development tour or over on the JDC, so many young players are choosing to have a fast pace and throw quickly. Just wondering sort of where your sort of pace came from, I guess, because it's quite rare to see a young player coming through throwing slowly.
Yeah, that's just something that's I probably haven't been like. I think I've last few years I've tried to not on purpose, tried to speed up, but
Mm.
we all want to get in a nice rhythm and sort of momentum. I think it does sort of work, but it's something I've tried. If you get too quick, I get a bit reckless. Really, it just doesn't work for me. I think it's something but just built into my game over the years. But yeah, like I say, all the young, exciting, young ones coming through now. They're all quick, rapid, and yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd love to be able to do that and play at a good level, but it just doesn't suit me. It doesn't work for me. But something over the last year or two, I have definitely tried to work on. Because no one wants to be known as a slow player, really. But yeah, I just try to ignore if I see anything online and just stick what works for me.
Yeah. Do you enjoy playing quicker players?
Um, I never used to. I think because I used to worry that I'd slow them down.
Okay.
And then I think there's a few players on the tour who, they're not the quickest to walk up to the board, get the darts out, and walk back. Whereas, you know, I may be a little bit slow on the oche, but as soon as I've thrown, I'm not trying to slow anyone down. I'm up there, got my darts, and walking back. So, yeah, I used to, if you throw someone, really quick, I used to think sometimes you can get a bit dizzy, but no, you just have to adapt nowadays, and yeah, I think we're always playing the same sort of players on the tour as well, so you get used to certain people's speed, and you just get on with it, really.
Yeah. Just before I let you go, I want to sort of focus on one of the big stories around at the moment, which is Beau Greaves and the sort of sensational averages and performances she's putting in back end of the year on development tour. She's obviously made her pro tour debut this year, beat Luke Littler to reach the World Youth Final. She's going to be on tour next year. I was just wondering how you think she will adapt to that and how she'll get on being, I guess, more of a full-time darts player.
Yeah, I think she's an unbelievable talent. She probably took the women's game to a new level. I think. Obviously, we know how good Fallon and Lisa they sort of started it all off, and they're still both world class as well. But Beau's just took it to her averages are insane, really. So yeah, obviously it's exciting. I think it's another like Luke Littler last year in the world, and when he got on tour, that's another good thing for us all in darts because everyone's going to be interested in not just Littler now, it's obviously Beau Greaves as well because her numbers are just a joke, aren't they? So Yeah, hopefully I don't have to play her too often. She'll probably bash me up, but no, I think it's good for darts. It can only be a good thing, and yeah, I think she ain't got to worry about trying to keep her talk on after 2 years. I think she could probably be top 64 after 1 year. So yeah, it should be exciting.
Have you played her this year?
No, I've never played her.
Really?
No, never come across her.
Well, it's a surprise. There can't be
Yeah,
too many players that you haven't played on tour.
yeah, no, I've never played her.
Oh, fair enough. Um, just another one with Bo as well. Raymond van Barneveld has said today that if she was to have a run at the World Championships, then he would expect the PDC to invite her to the Premier League. She's said to me and a few other media members today that she would accept that. But the Premier League needs those names, needs that watchability. Would you back her for something like that?
Yeah, I think why not? I think she'd have to probably have to get to the final of the World Championship to be sort of for them to put her in. I'd imagine. But the Premier League's an exciting, a sort of an exhibition, really. They want excitement. They want, yeah, it's just it's pure TV. So yeah, I wouldn't be against it if it's like I say, it's good for the sport. I'll get more viewers in. But yeah, I think she'd have to have an extraordinary World Championships though to be considered.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, really appreciate the time today, Ryan. We'll see you up at Ali Pali in just over a month's time.
No worries. Thank you very much.